Hello everyone, bear with me. Got one last thing that I'm fixing up. Sorry for the stream being started late, just some last minute issues. Okay. The heck? Alright, let me just pull up the streams. I think we should be good to go. Thank y'all once again for being patient. I mean, you could complain about, like, why isn't this starting on time? So, this is the nice thing to say. Uno for... Wait, what? Alright, Uno's stream doesn't have the Tetris board showing. So, we're just waiting on that. There is a total of 10 teams. Cole, I'm on it right now. It's not something that just gets done in OBS. I have to do that in Photoshop. I guess last thing, you know, if you could move the Twitch name that you have on your cam. All right. Thank y'all, everyone. Sorry about that. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Gauntlet Ascension. I'm your favorite underwater host, Sharky, and today we have a rematch between the Millionaires and the Wavy ones, and a rematch in multiple sense of the words. These are your finalists for last season of Gauntlet, and in this matchup, well, Wavy ones are looking to seek revenge up against the Millionaires, but we do have a couple of new faces on the Wavy ones. So it's going to be interesting to see how they perform in this matchup right now. Both of our first two players, Morlando and Uno, are warming up. So once they are done and warmed up, we'll be able to get things underway. Okay. While the YouTube is selecting just random games. It's a bit irritating. All right. There's y'all seed. All right. Looks like both of our players are ready. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. We go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. As you can see, both players do in fact have same piece sets as what they requested for. Orlando making a return to Gauntlet after not being seen since the previous, or 2 seasons ago, back in Ignition. And Uno, of course, making it into Gauntlet, finally crossing that threshold needed in order to participate in the main league. That being said, we're off to a clean start here. Orlando is taking one more burn than Uno. Uno off to a 1 Tetris lead here. It's going to take the conservative burns. Orlando forced to do some digging. Love the burn setup that was performed right there. No, those pieces are perfect. Use one more. Now this hole on column 8 is open, and Tetris is going to be scored and the well transfer. And Uno is also having to correct the stack as well. Orlando I-piece dependent, going to cover it up with that J-piece. It's not going to be spending some time burning this out. That T-piece is going to be perfect for a potential clean burnout. And just like that, both players are clean. Orlando is set up for a Tetris. Uno is not, but will be soon. We are in the middle of a drought. There it is. Tetris from Orlando goes up to 108. Uno, on the other hand, just waiting for the long bar. Gets the well open just in time. Another Tetris is going to be scored over there from Orlando, and one was scored for Uno as well. Uno couldn't use that long bar. But Orlando running into some issues. Beautiful Z-spin was hit over there for Orlando. Uno knocks down a Tetris. 134 to now 135. There's another Tetris for Uno. 180 now. Orlando does get the well open. And as it stands in terms of how these two teams are looking for the playoffs, which is projected to happen this summer, the Millionaires will have their full roster for the playoffs, and Orlando will also be a participating player. So it is definitely possible that these two teams can cross paths again. And as far as standings go, Millionaires are pretty safe to make top 6 for the playoffs. Wavey ones winning their matchup against the Ox Cords most recently did give them a boost over the rest of the middle part of the field. Tetris is going to be scored over there for Uno, 275. Orlando at 215. Now just waiting on the next eyepiece. And we actually got synchronized on pieces too. Uno kept the well open. Still waiting on the long bar. There it is. That's going to be a Tetris for Uno. Orlando in the midst of survival is going to knock down a Tetris, and Uno follows with one of his own. Fantastic survival on Orlando's part. However, Uno's just displaying some incredible level 18 efficiency. 349 for Uno, 271 from Orlando. There's Tetris for Uno, goes up to 374. Orlando, a little bit of tricky situation. Beautiful L flat there. Gonna keep hope alive, and Uno also having to do some burning as well. Nicely done over there from Orlando. Orlando's Tetris ready, and so is Uno. There it is, Tetris from Orlando, 325. Starting to make a comeback, but is ahead slightly in lines. It's going to be a Tetris for Uno. And Uno's going to knock down a second Tetris as well. 100,000 point advantage for Uno at 427. Orlando also, or not also, at 327. It's going to knock down Tetris, go up to 350. Knocks down another one. 3 Tetrises remain possible from Orlando. Difficult misdrop over here for Uno, but there are different ways that it can be resolved. Fortunately, this is going to be a rather costly endeavor. Just not finding ideal pieces. We are about to hit the transition. Orlando, not the most comfortable stack. As a matter of fact, this can get dangerous. Both players encountering some issues. Orlando only trailing by 40,000 points, but the well is open. Tetris is scored. Orlando transitions at 423. Uno, not looking to score. Tetris going into transition is going to transition at 441. So only ahead by 1 Tetris as Orlando hits level 20. Both players now having to bring the stacks into a scoreable position here on level 19. Orlando has done so. Uno needs to burn out this double, make that a 3-line burn. And even more, just a lot of weight being put on top of that column 10. Orlando now, Tetris ready, holding out for the next long bar. Has to cover the well. Things are looking a little bit tricky over there for that left-hand side. An eye piece would be very beneficial here from Orlando. Orlando's doing the best he can, but that misdrop looks like it's going to be fatal. Orlando can't do anything. Tops out at 443. Uno's going to be good for game number 1. Fire Dogs, thank you so much for the raid. Party of 17. You guys are just in time for our first match here as Uno currently leads 1-0. The next siege should be 1-0, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I was thinking about that. I'm going to be honest with you, Morland. I was thinking about it. I was like, wait a second. I'm pretty confident Orlando also played last season because I remember him being on the Wavey ones. Let's go. Fire Dogs maxed. Funny. That is the day that you joined Gauntlet that you maxed. Yes, it's increment. That is hilarious. I mean, after 9 one-offs, it was going to happen. $952. It's a lot of improvement for a short period of time. Because I remember you had like a mid to high 700, like not even a month ago. Firedox is on the stochastic squad. We do have it ready from both players, though. While Firedox is celebrating, let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Uno currently leads the match 1-0. And correcting what I said in game 1, Orlando has played in all seasons of Gauntlet teams. First season was a dry weller under the leadership of Fractal. Last season was a Wavey ones, and this season is also a Wavey ones. So definitely has a lot of experience in the main division. And Uno just recently getting a max to make it into the main division. It's been a pretty valuable asset for the Millionaires. And starting this game, quite the unsettling misdrop over here for Uno. And it's not really an... Oh, hold on. Goes for the tuck. It's going to help out the solution a little bit, especially if an L piece comes. Fortunately, there was no L piece on the way. Orlando just waiting on that long bar, waiting to capitalize on this kind of unfortunate situation that Uno has found himself in. There it is. Finally, a Tetris is going to be scored for Orlando. Both players had to wait a lot for that, and it's only going to convert into about a 2 Tetris lead as Uno now has the opportunity, going to get the perfect well transfer. 90,000 and now 109. Another Tetris is going to be scored over there from Orlando. And Uno going to take a couple of burns. So Orlando with a 2 Tetris lead at the moment. So far, clean play. Another Tetris is going to be scored over there for Uno. And as it stands, both players should be in the clear. Orlando definitely has been able to take advantage of that dig, even though initially it didn't seem like so. Those past few Tetrises has been just scored with just a high degree of efficiency, while Uno has been forced to kind of do some burning just to maintain a clean Tetris well. It's going to be another Tetris for Uno, 175. Orlando at 245. And so far, Uno just trying to keep the board under control. Orlando with that Tetris goes up to a 100,000 point lead. And things have just been falling well in Orlando's favor. A Simul Tetris actually right there. Tetris is going to be scored for both Uno and Orlando. 227 now, 342. It's kind of the inverse of what we saw in the first game, where it was Uno that had that lead around this point, about 100,000. It's going to be another Tetris for Orlando. And great timing on the bars, too. Uno gets Tetris ready and then knocks down another Tetris. 275 to now 387. Nice overhang. Great T-piece, too. Tetris is going to be scored for Uno, and the dependency gets filled. Orlando actually going to slow down here. It's not going to be a super heavy slowdown, but it's enough to where Uno might be able to claw back the lead by a Tetris or two, as Orlando has already gotten cleaned up. But yeah, 323 now for Uno. Sub 100,000 point deficit. Great S placement right there for Uno, too. And now Orlando back in scoring position. Uno running into a slowdown here. So far, things just real calm as we go into the level 19 transition. One more Tetris can be scored over here from Orlando. If that Tetris is found, that will be a 600k transition. Orlando is set up for it. Just waiting on that long bar, and look at that, bouncing back from game one with a 600k transition. Uno transitions at 394. Not the best board either, but it is workable. But a 200,000 point deficit is going to be hard to overcome. Uno set up for the Tetris. Neither player has really been able to score much here on the post transition. As a matter of fact, Orlando is kind of in a dangerous position. Uno trying to keep this column 3 open. Still, oh, those misdrops over there for Uno. Needs to get eyepiece, but there's none to be found. Uno's going to top out. This is a drought, too. Orlando ties up the set 1-1. Those bar timings are what we call gauntlet bar timings. Dude. Oh, fun fact. While I was at Waco, I generated all of our seeds. So those bad RNG games that I, like game 1 between me and Roman and game 1 between me and Miles. Yeah, that was my fault. And I generated the seeds for the finals too. I let them pick their own seed for the semis, but I was like, nah, I'm generating the seeds for the final. We do have it ready from Orlando. Honestly, I think if I didn't have a misdrop, I probably could have got a mid 1.1. Yeah, 2-1 should be the first 2 digits of the seed. That is correct. All right, we got it ready from these 2 players here. We are tied 1-1. This match between the Wavy ones and the Millionaires is shaping up to be a banger. Let's keep it going. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Holy cow. Perfect sync on a traditional restream. I'm sorry, that was just so satisfying. That is actually ridiculous. That's crazy. With that being said, though, these players both have gotten their first Tetrises on the board. And these 2 players are, in fact, our Diamond players playing. We actually don't have any Ruby players playing today. It's going to be Diamonds, Transcendents, and Captains. The Diamond players are players that have a max out up until a 1.1. Your Transcendents are players that have your 1.25 plus. Transcendents we have playing today, I believe everyone has at least a 1.3 million. So it's going to be very interesting. What is going to also be interesting to see how Orlando is going to navigate through this. A very uncomfortable down stack. But that left side does find solace. Just needs an L or a J. The well is now open. Now needs a bar, but no bar is going to be found. Wait, this might be a deadly drought. Orlando's going to have an early top out. Orlando tops out at 64K. There is no long bar in sight. The drought continues to go over here for Uno as he takes game number 2, or game number 3. And there it is. There's that long bar and the F2. Everyone knows that the F upon top out is O's signature move. But say my name at TF2. This ranking system we're working with is Gauntlet's internal ranking system. So, and as far as Ascension League players go, Diamond is from max out up until 1.1. Ruby is from 1.1 until 1.25. Transcendent is 1.25 up until 1.5. And then the Ascendant range is 1.5 plus, which, because of how players are improving over this past year, next season is going to have another reworking of those exact same what's it called? Same tiers. But when players are ready to get game number 4 underway, max out will still be the entry barrier to playing in the Ascension League. Where the 900 players at? There are some 900 players that have the exception to play in Ascension based on either competitive consistency or how close they are to the max. But yeah, I know, right? The simul start was crazy. Like, I'm sorry for freaking out, but it was like the simul start with the countdown all completely synced. That was ridiculous. But what isn't ridiculous is we're getting to a game number 4. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Yeah, see? You're never going to get a super clean start like that ever again. I mean, it could happen, but it's just incredibly rare off of like a traditional restream setup. And speaking of setups, Morlando got set up for the first Tetris. I know, starting to get a little bit high. It's going to bring the stack all the way down, holding on to advantage. And Uno finally able to start knocking down Tetrises here. Orlando was able to have a cleaner opener. And we saw what that was able to snowball into on game number 2. $182 now for Uno. Morlando in a dangerous situation here. Would love to get an eyepiece. And things aren't going too hot. Morlando trying to do everything he can to survive. Top set at 242. Uno has a chase down of 243. Two Tetrises and change will be enough However, this is Gauntlet. You're not getting the long bar that often. And you can see, being very disciplined with the way that the board is actually being built. At this point, a triple will be good enough. Now, yeah, still a triple. A double is just one line shy of the score that's needed. And there it is. Uno takes game number 4. The Millionaires now lead the set 1-0. But one match doesn't decide the outcome of the entire team match. There's still plenty more to be played. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back as we jump right into our Transcendent matchups. Stay tuned. All right. If you would like same piece sets, let me know. We have Colin Chalala. Cole, of course, with the jersey buff. All right. Same punishment seed it is. 42-83. Epsilon Falco. That's your seed. When players are ready, we can get them underway to game number 1. I mean, hey, if it goes down to sudden death, maybe. Isn't that a better reason to wear the jersey? Since the jerseys themselves, they're dry fit. And they're short sleeve too. Unless we have a ready from Cole, because we do have a ready from Chalala. Yes, I have. Cole getting hydrated before the match. Consuming bottled wavy ones. And we have the readies, so let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. The Millionaires currently lead the match 1-0. As they're looking to continue their 7-match win streak. I know we've been talking about the Grandmasters and how they've won 10 matches in a row. The Millionaires are right behind them, winning 7 matches in a row. So winning this would put the Millionaires at a record of 8-2. The Wavy Ones is along with all those teams that are in the middle of the pack that is fighting for those remaining 4 spots, because at a certain point, Millionaires, I think mathematically will have a safe spot in the playoffs. But speaking about having a safe spot, Cole, that IP's making it all the way over to the left is going to help make the stack a little bit more safe. Both players now having to deal with a rough sequence of pieces. Chala, a little bit of a misdrop there. Survival is still possible. Chala needs the eyepiece. Can't get into his desired location. Tops out at 74,000. Cole has a chase down at 75,000. And that Tetris is going to be good enough. Game 1 is going to go to Cole. And they're already ready to go. Shalala with the famous saying, warm-up is done. Well, we'll be the ones to confirm that. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. You can see both players. Same piece set. Similar opening stacks, too. There was a differentiation on that second S, though. Neither player was Tetris ready for that first long bar. Or rather, the second one. And both are having to use the long bar to fill in these 2 deep gaps. Cole doing everything that he can to avoid creating a long bar dependency. And definitely, this opener has been a little bit tricky on the pieces here. And, ooh, Chala had to forego using a long bar for a Tetris there. So Cole currently in the lead. A second Tetris for Chala is going to break that lead down, though. And both players, great stacks here. having to weather another drought. Discipline triple going to be taken over there for Cole. Tetris for Chalala. And Cole's going to score one as well. Chalala with a 40,000 point lead. Cole looking for a J piece preferably. It's the J piece. It's going to allow the board to get Tetris ready. It's going to be trailing still by this kind of 2 Tetris to a Tetris and a half deficit. Cole making some minor adjustments. Not finding the right pieces. Couldn't get the piece all the way over to the left. Looks like an accidental flip back, if that makes any sense. So a lot of burns are going to be committed here. And Chalala with a board like this can take advantage. And, ooh, Cole goes for the dirty left wall Tetris. That's the best way for you to try and downstack, or rather the most efficient way for you to downstack is with Tetrises if you can. But Chalala still holding on to a lead, is going to extend it. 258 for Chalala. Cole at 185. Oh, beautiful adjustment on the J for the L flat burn. Great vision right there from Cole. The board is back to a position where it's under control. Now Cole just needs to aim to get Tetris ready. Chalala almost with a 100,000 point lead. Make that does have a 100,000 point lead following that Tetris. And rough timing on that eyepiece right as soon as the well got covered. But makes it back up with another Tetris there. So far, the play has been pretty clean from Chalala. Great drought management on Chalala's part right there. 356 now for Chalala. Cole at 218. Knocks down one Tetris and is going to be ready for a second. So definitely a fierce game being fought here from both of these players. And the pieces just seem... Oh, double took over there for Cole. Chalala is going to knock down Tetris. Cole is set up. Just waiting patiently. Nice skim on that J. 310 to now 403. Chalala's going to go up to 429. Nice delay burn set up over there from Cole. Gets the long bar, brings the stack down. And the thing is, Cole is keeping up in terms of the pace that Chalala has been able to provide. And Cole's going to opt to go for a couple of burns here. This is in the danger zone now. Goes for the L spin there. Doesn't work out. Still trying to survive. Eyepiece comes. Couldn't use it for a Tetris, but can use that one. 363. Cole's going to stay alive, but is going to be down by 130,000 points. The well is now opened. There is Tetris for Cole. Clean play from Cole following that dig. It's starting to make a comeback as Chalala has a very complex sequence that needs to be dealt with. Is getting the board down to a more comfortable height as we get closer and closer to the level 19 transition. Tetris for Cole, 460. 2 Tetrises left possible. 1 left possible for Chalala, and following that Tetris for Cole, 1 more is left possible. Chalala doesn't look like he's going to find this last Tetris, but Cole does, transitioning at 506. Chalala transitions at 539. Still a 30,000 point lead, but is in the midst of survival here. These pieces aren't too hot for Chalala. Tucks the eyepiece underneath. Still trying to stay alive. Double eyepiece dependent. Cole also in a little bit of trouble. That left side's a massive concern. Can Chalala get something over to the left? Nicely done. Chalala making a valiant effort to survive. Looks like that's exactly what we're going to get. Left or right side now, long bar to pin it. Eyepiece makes it over. Chalala goes for a couple of burns here. Well, it's almost open, but several more complicated pieces hit the stack. Oh my gosh, actually goes for the roll to the right, but hangs pieces on the left. I don't think there's too much left that could be done. Chalala's not going to stop fighting, though. Cole does take the lead, and Chalala's going to top it at 572. Was just stuck in this situation the entirety of the post-transition. Cole now leads the match 2-0. Also, thank you, Martin Zimmy and Philip Baumel. I hope I said that right for the follows. That entire game, or entire post-transition was weird. And Cole does find the F. So no. Both players are ready. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Game number 3. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Oh, that was pretty close. And very different openers, too. That being said, Chalala was the first to find a Tetris. Cole is going to find one later. But now we might have something developing here on column 3. And now we are tied. 95,000 apiece. Chalala is going to be the one to break that tie. Forced to do a couple of burns here. And now so is Cole. As a matter of fact, Cole looking for pieces and they just aren't falling. That eyepiece is going to be perfect. Filling in the dependency. Cole not trying to go for any kind of flat placements. Still J-piece dependent on the left-hand side. Nice. Gets the Z-piece over. J-piece was not found in a timely enough manner. J-piece dependency still open. Fills an I-piece dependency first. Gets the Z over to the left. Chalala with the Vits there. The signature Wavey one's move. Well, it might not be signature, but definitely the team that sets up Vits the most. Cole's going to survive. Knocks down a Tetris. 139. Chalala at 174. And Chalala is going to hold on to an early game lead. Misdrop on the S. Not dangerous per se. As a matter of fact, I like the way that Chalala is approaching this. If another eyepiece comes, that's going to allow for... Well, eyepiece came a bit too late. With the way that Chalala was going for that burn. It looked like potentially there was an opportunity for an incredibly clean and fast burnout. But as a result, Cole has taken the lead. As Shalala waits for the next long bars for Tetris's. Thank you so much for the gift sub, Cousin Avi. Really appreciate it. $260 now for Chalala. Make that $283 for Chalala and $271 for Cole. And right now, Chalala would love to get a J piece. Well, J piece did come, just not when Chalala needed it. And now Chalala is having to do some down stacking. I piece would be absolutely beneficial for that right hand side. I piece not found, looking for an L or a J. There's the L. And similar to a dig that Cole had earlier this very game, Chalala finds her way out of this. Needs another J piece. Well is open. Cole at 356 has taken the lead. Chalala at 370 is going to knock down another Tetris and take the lead right back. So only in the lead by just under a Tetris. Both players, well, not anymore. Chalala has a potential for 3 Tetrises left here before level 19. Cole has a potential for 2, now 1 following that Tetris. Chalala sets up the Vits. Is able to get the eyepiece for the execution. Really aggressive stacking here with only 4 lines to go before level 19. Cole's going to transition at 444. And Chalala transitions at a 440 as well. Or actually a 420. Chalala now, this is game number 3, has to win this game in order to extend the set. And these pieces are very rough. Had no idea what to do with those S's. Chalala is back into down stacking mode. But this time there is no games left. Chalala has to survive. Down stacking effort is going fantastically. Looking for a couple of pieces that's going to help out that right hand side. Nice adjustment on that eyepiece. Great adjustment on the T. Chalala has brought the stack all the way down to the bottom. Not quite in Tetris scoring position. Still has a few more burn lines to commit. And a lot of just unfavorable dead drops or not getting pieces in their desired location. Cole has been on an absolute tear here in the post transition at a score of 611. But is going to slow down. Does not have an opportunity to score Tetris. So if Chalala can get clean, this could be an opportunity for her to try and make a comeback. But Cole is almost clean already. Just going to be looking for an eyepiece, go over to that left-hand side. And yeah, just takes the triple. Chalala really having a rough time here on the post-transition. Brought the stack all the way down. Nice double rotation. And Chalala, beautiful burn right there. Tetris ready here on column 8. Holding up for the long bar. Misdrops a piece over to the left. Burns the double. Tetris going to be scored for Chalala. 527 and now 640. Cole had slowed down throughout the past 2 levels, but is now back in a scoring position. Is going to knock down another Tetris. Goes up to 670. $531 now for Chalala. Cole at 704. Both players on level 25. Cole's just bringing the stack down. Chalala opens up this column 8 once again and knocks down a Tetris. Now has the opportunity to just transfer back to the right-hand side. And is opting not to. Finally decides to take the burn single. He's going to have to rely on 29 play at this point, as Cole is just in a great position. Doesn't look like he's going to be slowing down anytime soon. Another Tetris over here for Cole. 758 now for Cole. 642 for Chalala. Another Tetris for Cole. Another Tetris for Chalala. Both players are in scoring positions. However, Chalala's going to slow down slightly. Doesn't go for the S-spin right there. Is now set up once again here in this column 8. Couple of misdrops for Cole is going to slow him down a little bit. We are closing in on level 29. 2 Tetrises remain possible for both Cole and Chalala. And Chalala's going to go for the center well, trying to avoid burning. Really trying to maximize as much efficiency here before 29. And these pieces aren't allowing her to. There's one Tetris, goes to 29 at 783. Cole goes to 29 at 842. That left side needs to be dealt with. Chalala set up for a Tetris. Could the comeback be possible? Cole's not able to get anything. Chalala needs the Tetris and change, but pieces are complicated. It's not going to happen. Unable to open up the well in time. Cole takes game number 3, sweeping Chalala. And the Millionaires lead the set 2-0. Millionaires lead the match 2-0, but that doesn't mean the match is over. The Wavey ones still have a chance to turn the tides. However, it's going to be up to Messex in order to stop the mercy rule. Don't go anywhere. We will be right back. right. When O is back, we'll be getting started. Of course, players want the same piece sets. This would be the time to request for them. Alright, O would like SPS. Messix, what say you? Alright, there's your seat. In the event of a tie, there's two things that happen. The win gets given to both players, or the game gets replayed. So, like, if it was the first or second game, then the win would be given to both players. But if it was like the third or fourth game, then the game gets replayed. Alright, we got it ready from Messix, just need it ready from O. Alright. The match is on the line with this game. Messix needs to win this for the Wavey wants to still have a chance in this. If O wins this, then the Millionaires are guaranteed a victory no matter the outcome of the captain's match. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. We have our start from O. Just waiting on Messix. They do have it ready on the screen, so... we got to start. Messix going to be a bit behind, but I think actually both players top out. We'll redo that one. Just increment the seed, so it's fair. So it should be 590174. All good, all good. All right. Now both players are ready. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Wall band, that timing is crazy. Here we go in 3, 2, 1, Tetris. So as it stands right now, Messix has to win this match up against O in order for the Wavey ones to still have a chance to come out on top of this match. This is going to be Messix's second match playing for the Wavey ones. The first half of the season, Messix played for the Rogues. And going into the second season, was traded to the Wavey ones. But as of right now, Messix off to a flawless start. Of course, Messix being a longtime player in the Gauntlet team format. And a couple of missteps on Messix. Ooh, this is going to be a pretty complicated solve, or if it's not a complicated one, it's definitely going to be a costly one. And the pieces aren't the most ideal for an efficient burnout. But Messix is making headway. Oh, on the other hand, 165,000. Just an incredibly clean stack. Messix still trying to burn out of this situation. That triple is going to help immensely. J-piece dependent. Forced to go for the S flat. Wow, just unfavorable pieces for Messix. Set up for a dirty. No doubt the 30 Tetris could be on his way. And that's going to be a top out. O is good for game number 1. Dude, if you don't know No Doubt, you're not a true classic Tetris player. No Doubt has an important place in history. Dude, that Tetris was crazy. We already have it ready for Messix. And now we got it ready from O. Let's get game number 2 counted down. We go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Now Messix pushing down a bit. Identical stacks. Oh, we had some differentiation there. Oh, with a bit more of a conservative way to get set up. Messix finds 2 Tetrises as a result. Oh, it's only able to find 1. So, Messix taking the lead early on. Flawless opener. Oh, deciding to take the burns, not trying to create an eyepiece dependency over there to that left-hand side. And there's the flawless 20 from Messix. Oh, gonna intentionally create the L-piece overhang. Does get that L-piece and the I-piece. So O's gonna be able to get Tetris ready. Tetris for O. 118 to now 136, down by just 1 Tetris. But as of right now, things are looking mostly stable. Both players needing a T-piece for different capacities. T-piece for the T-spin for Messick, and the T-piece for the tuck for O. O would love an I-piece here. And I-piece comes a bit too late. And Messick, whoa, I missed what happened. I don't think anything's getting over to that left-hand side. Messick's going to top out at 187. Oh, it needs 188. 188 is the score that O needs. And that Tetris is going to be good enough, and O takes game number 2. Both players are ready for game number 3. This is match point and team match point. If O wins this, the Millionaires are guaranteed a victory regardless of the outcome of Sidnet versus Miles. However, if Messick win this, we go to a game 4. And Messick, what a way to open. That was such a clean opener. Oh, trying to find a Tetris here. Does find it miraculously without having to do any burns. What the? And a little bit of an early tuck over there for O. Maybe got a tad bit too fancy there. And it looks like Messick's going to be eyepiece dependent. Fills in the dependency first. Does finally have to take a burn. 4 burns at that. But a Tetris is going to be scored from both players. The dirty Tetris is scored over there from O. But yet again, it's Messick this time with the better opener. And a couple of tricky pieces. Not the easiest to navigate through. But Messick is going to be ready for a Tetris. I hope that Z placement was an adjustment, because if so, brilliant adjustment for that L on Messick's part. I was going to continue to score Tetrises here, a little bit elevated, this time scoring from row 3, but back on the right-hand side. And O is down to the bottom. 163 for Messick, 140 for O. Messick's going to knock down a column 3. It looks like Messick's actually going to stick with this. Yeah, not going to try and take the triple there. Would love an eyepiece here. Look at that stack of S's. That is probably the safest F-Spire I ever seen. Messick set up now for a row 4 Tetris. Knocks it down in the lead. 257 for Messick, 210 for O. O knocks down Tetris, and he's going to have to resolve this particular formation. Fortunately, not getting ideal pieces. Messick still playing up top, trying to go for this row 4 Tetris, but the long bar is nowhere to be found. The well got covered at possibly the wrong time. Messick is now in the process of down stacking. That TP is going to help. It finds its mark on the right-hand side. Messick still trying to survive. Flat L placement. Going to help burn out a single. Eyepiece hits its mark. TP's can't make it all the way over to the right. Messick stops it at 264. O is good at 285. Taking the match with a sweep, in the Millionaires will win this match 3-0. Not gonna lie, today we've seen some pretty bizarre piece sequences. But you guys are still gonna get a captain's match because, like I said, the Wavy ones are part of those 4 teams that are in the middle of the pack. So don't go anywhere. We will be right back. No, you're all good, Messex. right, looks like we got it ready for Miles. Once we get our ready from Sidnev, we can get the captain's match underway. Of course, players, make sure you have your double kill screen at 39 turned on as well. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to get into the captain's match. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Miles versus Sidnev. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. As you can see, both players are in fact playing on the same piece sets. Miles, recently a finalist in the Waco Regional. And Sidnev, of course, finalist at this past year's CTWC. Because, yeah, we're in 2024 now. Dude, January is almost over. How crazy is that? But both players have gotten Tetrises on the board. And right now, the stacking just looks clean. Oh, Sidnev missing the spin there. I like the burn setup over there from Sidnev, though. The pieces were a tad bit friendlier. Could have seen something a little bit more efficient. But the setup was very nice. Sidnev is burned all the way down to the bottom. Well, not down to the bottom, but has achieved access on the well to the right-hand side. Miles is going to be leading by 30,000 points early on. Ooh, true. Millionaires versus Rogues rematch will be an interesting one, since the Rogues are one of the 2 teams that beat the Millionaires this season. The other team, of course, being the Grandmasters. So that rematch would definitely be an interesting one. But that's in the future. We're talking about the present. 186 for Miles. Make that 209 for Miles. 172 for Sidnev. And as of right now, it's been pretty calm. There was a small hiccup on Sidnev's board early in level 18. But outside of that, both players have just been stacking incredibly cleanly. What's a J piece dependency over there for Sidnev? And I like that that Z vert placement. The well is now open. Miles is able to find the Tetris. Sidnev holding up at the next bar. Discipline triple. Oh my gosh. Going for that placement to the left. And the long bar is just nowhere to be found. There it is. Couldn't use it for a Tetris. Miles opens up the well. Tetris is for Sidnev. There's one for Miles. And there's another. 327 and now 278. Both players back down towards the bottom. A little bit of a tricky draw to handle, and Sidnev able to manage it so well. There's one thing that Sidnev is known for is the ability to play up so high. Sidnev looking for the J piece. Ooh, accidental triple rotation and goes to fill in the long bar dependency first. Fortunately, a second long bar was close enough so a Tetris was able to be scored. But Miles at 419 here on 84 lines. end up having to do a couple of burns here. Miles with a misdrop though. So some burns are going to be committed by Miles eventually. And I like the setup. It's going to get Miles cleaned up just about immediately. Sinev goes for the placement over there to the left. Just kind of curious if she'd go for it. 365 now for Miles, or not for Miles, for Sinev. 515 for Sinev. Or for Miles. Wow, I completely butchered that. 530 or 540 for Miles. Sinev at 412. Got discombobulated right there. That being said, we are closing in on level 19 transition. Miles has been able to maintain an advantage throughout the entirety of level 18. Sinev has 2 Tetrises available with perfect play. Miles has 1, but has 3 burn lines in hand. One more Tetris available for Sinev. That same one is still available for Miles. Sinev trying to avoid going for the skim. And there it is. Sinev's going to transition 506. Miles transitions at 617. Game 1 right out the gate. A 600k transition is going to be scored for Miles, and both players knock down Tetrises immediately upon entering level 19. Both players are Tetris ready too. 642 to now 532. Another Tetris over there going to be scored for Sinev, but Miles is going to counter. Sinev is still prepped for another Tetris and is going to knock one down following that long bar. Miles had to utilize that same long bar to get Tetris ready. Both players are now building up here on level 20. Well is open for Sinev. Miles knocks down Tetris, and so does Sinev. 695 to now 611. Another Tetris for Miles. And Sinev, perfect T-piece. But that L-piece did not make it all the way over to the left. So now there is an I-piece dependency. Dependency gets dealt with first, and the Tetris is scored second. 776 for Miles. Hasn't slowed down since we reached transition. And a couple of misdrops over here for Sinev. Has re-established control, but now needs to get the board under control. Another misdrop for Sinev. Going for a couple of flat placements, looking for a J-piece. J-piece is going to help prolong life a little bit. Beautiful flat L. A T-piece would be a godsend, but unfortunately none to be found. T-piece makes it all the way over to the right, and a L makes it all the way over to the left. Sinev staying alive here, doing the best that she can. Still would love another L-piece. Finds one, and O-piece would be absolutely perfect to go over to that left-hand side. O-piece not found. Sinev trying to do everything that she can, but it's not going to be enough. Miles takes game number 1 at 891 here on level 23. We got it ready from Sinev, and we got it ready from Miles. That means both players are ready to head straight to game number 2, and I'm going to be the one to count you down there. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. And you can confirm both players are in fact on the same piece sequence. I believe so. And ooh, both players with some misdrops early on and a missed spin tuck over there for Sinev. And looks like early game, a little bit of a droughty nature. Players are having to manage. Wow. These pieces are really tough for Miles to deal with. As a matter of fact, this could be an early top out. Oh my gosh, Miles gets the eyepiece over to the right. Holy cow. Clutch survival over there for Miles. And Miles still holds on to a lead. Sidnev also feeling the pressure of these pieces. Because, dude, this is such an ugly sequence here in the beginning. Dirty Tetris over there for Sidnev, and just like that, the board's going to be clean. Miles knocks down a regular, or a dirty Tetris as well. Is going to be operating off of row 3 Tetrises here. And Sidnev actually in the lead. Oh, wait, no ice spin over there for Miles. That was a perfect opportunity for an ice spin. That would have cleaned out that right side. Sidnev just going to be able to really take advantage. Going to be leading by at least 1 Tetris real time. Potentially 2 Tetrises in terms of pace. No Tetris is going to be scored. Great C placement right there. That accommodates for the following eyepiece. There's another Tetris for Miles. As Miles knocks down center well, Sidnev knocks down 1 on the right well. And Sidnev just trying to get the center of the stack filled in some way. It's now a long bar dependency. Tetris is going to be scored. Long bar dependency still covered. So Sidnev's going to be spending some energy towards getting that addressed on the left-hand side. And oh, another misdrop from Sidnev. He's going to go for the flat L placement. Wow. Great timing on that triple bar over there for Sidnev. Still having to do some down stacking, and now Miles has officially taken the lead by half a Tetris as both players well is open, just waiting on the next long bar. There it is, Tetris for Miles. $382 for Miles, $351 for Sidnev. Sidnev's going to take the triple. Try and keep the board as manageable as possible, as Miles is holding out through this drought. Great sequence of tucks over there for Sidnev. The pieces are very accommodating too. However, the left side needs to be addressed. Those pieces are going to work. Tetris for Sidnev, Tetris for Miles. 475 for Miles at 115 lines. Sidnev is at 408 at 110 lines. So going to be trailing by a true deficit of about 2 Tetrises in terms of pace. 3 Tetrises real time for the moment being. We are closing in the level 19 transition. And Sidnev goes for the T-spin there. Definitely different ways that could have been approached. And oh, unfortunately, RNG didn't work out, but I love the delay burn that Sidnev was setting up there. It was a very creative solution, and if the pieces allowed for it, could have been very successful. But we are going to head into level 19 as Miles is going to transition in the high 500s. Sidnev transitions in the high 400s. So Sidnev at the disadvantage right now. Miles not in a position to score just yet. Still having to do some burning. Sidnev, a Tetris is going to be scored on row 2. 549 for Sidnev, 599 for Miles. The 5 below, but the tuck was missed. Miles is going to run into another slight slowdown. But the well is reopened and a Tetris is going to be scored for Miles. 635 to now 567. Sidnev set up for a Tetris here. Level 20. Looking for the eyepiece. Holding out patiently. There it is. Tetris for Sidnev. Another Tetris is going to be scored for Sidnev. It almost could have had a perfect clear. But 622 to now 665. Another Tetris for Sidnev. 650. Nice adjustment. Miles is going to answer a Tetris. Sidnev was closing the gap, and so Miles wants to put some separation between the two. Sidnev reopens up the well. A Tetris is going to be scored for Sidnev. 679. And untimely O-piece. Now that column 2 and 3 must be addressed. There is a J-piece dependency on the left-hand side over there for Sidnev. There's an I-piece over there. And a Tetris is going to be scored for Sidnev. 712 to now 780. Miles still with the advantage in pace and real time. But Sidnev's going to answer back with a Tetris. Goes into level 24. Miles holding out patiently for the next long bar. Finds it. Tetris is going to be scored for Miles. 810 to now 742. Sidnev now waiting on that same long bar. Another Tetris is going to be scored for Sidnev. Both players just back and forth here in the early post-transition. As we get into our latter parts, players looking for the next long bar. C-spin is going to be hit over there for Miles. Tetris is going to be scored for Sidnev. Miles still holding out for this long bar. Stack is starting to get up high, uncomfortably so. Where's this long bar for Miles? There it is. Tetris is going to be found. 854 for Miles. 808 for Sidnev. Sidnev is also going to find that Tetris. Both players stacked up for another one. There's one for Miles. 889 to now 840 as Sidnev holding out for the next long bar. There it is going to be Tetris for Sidnev. Once again, it's just back and forth. Tetrises are being scored. Neither player really able to build that much of an advantage or decrease the disadvantage as both players just knocking down Tetrises at the same frequency. 988 now for Miles. 939, make that 973 for Sidnev. We're separated by less than a Tetris and only one line separating us. Sidnev was able to find a spout of efficiency somewhere. There's the max out for Miles. 823, there's the million points for Sidnev. 806, no Tetris for Miles. Two more remain here on level 28. There's one. Miles can go into 29 with a 1.3, or not a 1.3, a 1.1, pardon me. There it is, 1.129 for Miles going into 29. Sidnev looking for one last Tetris going into 29 as well. Putting out patiently for the long bar. Doesn't find it. 881 is what Sidnev goes into 29 for. Sidnev for a Tetris here on level 29. Doesn't find the long bar. Has to take the triple. 899 now for Sidnev. B45 for Miles. Miles looking for a couple of pieces, not finding them. Can't find a clean way to get set up, but Sidnev is set up. Knocks down a Tetris, but a misdrop on that Z is going to provide complications, but a misdrop on O. Miles is going to top it at B51. Sidnev, you need B52 to complete the chase down. Left side was a little bit scary right there following that misdrop over there from Sidnev. 2,000 points is all that's needed. One more line clear should do it, and that double is good enough. Sidnev ties up the set 1-1. All right, we got it ready from Miles and Sidnev. The match has been tied 1-1. Let's see who's going to break that tie. Let's go ahead and get them counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Hopefully my power doesn't go out. It's starting to rain a bit heavier. As of right now, both players off to a great start. Sidnev, a flawless one. Flawless 20 over here for Sidnev. Miles has had to take 5 burn lines so far. And Miles is going to go for the delayed bits. Sugi felt a disturbance in the force right there. But honestly, that delayed Vitz wasn't too bad of a decision if you ask me, given that there was really no other alternative clean places. $209 now for Miles, $231 for Sidnev. Has since taken burns, but still a very powerful opener. And was kind of forced to take some burns right there. By the way, this has been a very calm opener here at the beginning of the game. There hasn't been too many problematic happenings. Oh, those pieces are going to be great for Sidnev. Oh, that was a beautiful sequence. Sidnev finds the Tetris. Actually, we are just shy of being tied. 325 to 326. Miles was able to recuperate some of that efficiency disparity at some point. Unfortunately, had to wait too long on that J piece. Is now set up for something in column 4, or column 3, row 4, pardon me. So Sidnev gonna go back into a 1 Tetris lead. $440 now for Sidnev, $421 for Miles. And Sidnev is going to be maintaining kind of a 1 to 2 Tetris advantage. This has just been a display of clean Tetris. There's obviously that one moment where Miles had to go for something a little bit dirty in nature. But otherwise, neither player has really found themselves in too much trouble. $599 for Sidnev. Hold on a second. This could be a 700k transition. This actually gives me flashbacks to the first match of last season, where Sidnev up against Miles and last season got a 700k. And it is very much possible to happen this game. Sidnev's going to need these 3 Tetrises, but it can happen. There's the Tetris for Sidnev. My gosh. One more and we get a 700k transition. Miles' transition was 655. Sidnev, nice overhang right there. There it this, a 715 transition. That is ridiculous. But it doesn't stop there. You have to play well in the post transition, and that's exactly where we are. 707 now for Miles, 764 for Sidnev here, level 20. Miles is going to answer back with some Tetrises, continuing to put the pressure on Sidnev. Sidnev knocks down another Tetris. Here we go, 790 for Sidnev. Miles waiting patiently for the long bar. Sidnev, a lot of overhangs that need to be dealt with. Sidnev is going to run into a slowdown. This is an opportunity for Miles to take the lead into his favor. Sidnev does find a Tetris and is going to have to deal with the consequences of a couple of stacking decisions. Miles knocks down another Tetris, 817 and now 824. Miles clean, Tetris ready. Both players on level 22. Sidnev is back in the scoring position. There's a Tetris for Miles into the lead, 846 to now 833. Another Tetris for Miles goes up to 875. Sidnev holding up for the long bar, finds one, and is set up for another Tetris, and is going to find that other 890 to now 875, but Miles answers back. 900,000 here on level 23 for both Miles and Sidnev. 2 Tetrises more, and Miles would just be knocking on that door of a max. But Sidnev is continuing to put the pressure on Miles, 947 and now 935. 2 lines is what separates them, so Sidnev holding on to a true lead. Another Tetris for Miles. Sidnev burns a double into a Tetris, 980 to now 965. Miles looking for certain pieces to help him get Tetris ready. Great management of those pieces. Nice tuck executed. 995 to now 810. That is the level 24 max from Sidnev. And now Miles has built up the long bar dependency. The long bar is nowhere to be found. So Miles is going to have to do some burning. 841 now for Sidnev. Miles has in fact maxed. And the board is back into a state to where Miles can now score. Sidnev holds out for the long bar, knocks down a Tetris, and knocks down a second one. Miles knocks down a Tetris as well. 839 to now B05. That is 1.1 over here for Sidnev here on level 26. Sidnev's bringing their A game here in game number 2, or game number 3. B10 now for Miles on level 27. Not going down without a fight. Truly a phenomenal and well-played game from both of these players. Sidnev is just on a tremendous pace here. CO3 now for Sidnev on level 27. We still have 17 lines until level 29 on Sidnev's part. But hold on a second. There's a drought appearing up top for Miles. Knocks out a Tetris. B82. C41s for Sidnev. What the heck is this game from Sidnev? C75 for Sidnev. Miles transitions to level 29 at C56. There it is, D10 for Sidnev here. Level 28, one more Tetris remains, but hold on, the long bar dependency has been built and it's been addressed. D46 going into level 29. Tremendous play, and there's a 29 Tetris, goes up to D83. Miles down by 100,000 points and is on level 31. Is going to have to outscore Sidnev in the post-transition. But Sidnev's just taking it easy here on level 30. Both players playing clean. Miles potentially going to set up for something here in the center. Knocks it down. D42 for Miles. E31 for Sidnev. That is 1.4 for Sidnev. There's another Tetris for Sidnev here on level 31. Sidnev's going to get set up for another one. Pieces are making it over to the left. But hold on. There are some complications arising. Long bar couldn't be utilized for a Tetris. Sidnev needs the long bar. Needs it soon. Needs it now. Gets it over. There's the almost a rollover here on level 31. Knocks down another Tetris. But the left side's inaccessible. Miles can't do anything. Miles is also... Hold on, no. Miles is still finding ways to survive. The top out is not yet. Miles, hold on. No, I don't think it's going to be possible. Needs to get pieces over to the left and can't do it. F50 at level 32. Sidnev takes game number 3. What a game. 700k transition. 1.34 into 29. And an F50 at level 32. You couldn't ask for a better game 3 than that. And Miles still with the 1.398 on level 33 was a hot game. Absolutely ridiculous. Wait, 121 bars? My God. That's a lot of bars. What a game. But it's not over. Miles can still bring us to a decider. Let's go ahead and get these players counted down. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Truly a fantastic game played from both players, but Sidnev, like I said, reminiscent of that very first match that these two players had last season. A 700k transition, and Sidnev at the time was tapping and had the highest score in Gauntlet at that time too. It's truly a ridiculous game. But you also got to be curious. There's a little bit of a stigma when you have a good game. The ability to follow up with a equally good game is always something that's difficult to do. And this time around, neither player able to go for a perfect opener. Miles has taken one more burn than Sidnev. But as far as long bar utilization goes, they're using it at around the same rate. So it's just until Sidnev is forced to burn a line, Sidnev will have the very slight pace advantage. Very slight. And it looks like, no, Sidnev doesn't have to burn. Long bar came at a great time. JP's dependency over here for Miles, though, does get it filled. Nice adjustment for Miles. Left side would like some degree of being addressed. A T-piece would be fantastic. And there's that T-piece. Sidnev now looks like is going to slow down slightly. It's going to knock down a couple of Tetrises and... Actually, we're separated by 2 pushdown points in Miles' favor at that one instance. Tetris is going to be scored over there for Miles. But it looks like we're going to get some more separation. Sidnev was just built up so high. Was able to find a Tetris where Miles just did not have enough board composition in order to score 2 Tetrises off the 2 nicely timed long bars. Miles now looking for a J piece here. He's going to knock down the Tetris 302 to now 304. And once again, we're just having another close game. Because both players last game, may I remind you, a 650 transition for Miles and a 712, I believe that was for Sidnev. So it was very close. 3 Tetrises is what separated them in that game, upon transition at least. And we have very opposite board heights. Sidnev stacking up really high. Miles trying to keep it under control. Ooh, couldn't find a use for that long bar or that long bar either. Could finally use the third one. We'll be heading into level 19 and 40-ish lines, depending on whose board you're looking at. And really, these past few games have just been a demonstration of what clean Tetris looks like, and Miles seems to not approve of that particular setup. It's going to be fine, though. 490 for Miles, 513 for Sidnev. Miles, of course, would love to force a decider here. Sidnev now with some really tricky situations to deal with. Is finding good pieces, though. Miles is going to utilize this opportunity. Takes the lead. Great choreo on recognition over there from Sidnev. 566 to now 559. 600k transitions are on the table, if not basically guaranteed at this point. There it is, 604 for Miles, 590 for Sidnev. Sidnev was able to find another Tetris, goes up to 613. Miles covers up the well when 2 long bars come, and a third. Finally can use that 4th. Both players, Sidnev has 1 Tetris available. Wow, 3 long bars. There's 1. Both players transition, 636 for Sidnev and a 652 for Miles, if I'm remembering correctly. Miles has to make a stand here. There it is, Tetris for Miles, goes up to 700k. Sidnev in the midst of down stacking. Dirty Tetris going to be scored over there for Sidnev, 670 now. And Miles answers back with a Tetris of his own, but Sidnev counters with another Tetris. Separated by 30,000 points, so that's a Tetris and change here on level 20. Miles forced to set up an eyepiece dependency. And now these pieces are very complicated. We'll love to get an eyepiece to help resolve this. Eyepiece not found, so finds an alternative down-stacking maneuver. Both players not in a Tetris scoring position, separated by 10,000 points, but Miles has the edge. Can get in the Tetris scoring position a lot sooner than Sidnev. Just needs a couple of good pieces to go for Tux. Beautiful Tux, but misses the spin. Sidnev is almost back in the Tetris scoring position, and so is Miles. Couple more pieces are needed. Sidnev opens up the well. Miles opens up his well. There it is. Tetris for Sidnev and Tetris for Miles. 779 to now 771. Miles looking for the J piece, trying to avoid creating an eyepiece dependency. And it's going to be Tetris ready. 808 now for Miles. 800 for Sidnev. Miles really having to throw these pieces all the way over to the left. Very complicated setup. Miles is once again back in down stacking mode. And I like the way that Miles has been placing these eyepieces. Not creating too many dependencies, giving himself an ideal board to work with. However, Sidnev is going to be able to take advantage of this moment. Miles looking for an L. That eyepiece is going to work. Still trying to find ways to get access to that hole over there in column 8. Would love an eyepiece now. I and a J. Does get that J. Gets the eyepiece. Well is open. Set up for the Tetris now. But long bar nowhere to be found. Takes the conservative burn. Beautiful delay burn with the J flat. And there it is. Tetris for Miles. But Sidnev has converted this into a 100,000 point lead. 961 for Sidnev. Miles at 865. Great set of burns over there from Miles. Well is open. Tetris going to be scored. 901 to now 993. Sidnev is really pulling out the stops here. There it is, another Tetris for Miles. Sidnev going for the dirty Tetris. Sidnev has already maxed. There it is. Dirty Tetris going to be scored. Now Sidnev's going to spend some portion of level 20. As a matter of fact, the eyepiece comes right here. This could be almost perfect. But the eyepiece is nowhere to be found. There it is. Tetris for Sidnev. 875. Having to spend a couple of lines to burn through to get the board ready for 29. There's the Tetris, and Miles has already crossed the max out threshold. Hold on, we're only separated by 10,000 points. The line discrepancy has basically been neutralized. There's the Tetris over there for Sidnev. B15. Another Tetris goes into 29 at B51. Miles is now at B05. Set up for one more Tetris. Sidnev now at B87. Miles goes to 29 at B41. Sets up for a Tetris. Waiting on the next long bar. Sidnev is able to score one at C25 now. Miles not getting good pieces. Just forced to burn down. Another Tetris for Sidnev here on level 30. Left side. Not going to be dealt with just yet for Miles. Now trying to get built up. Oh, those pieces work out nicely, but still not ready for a Tetris. Sidnev trying to maneuver. Back to being Tetris ready here on level 31. Trying to finish things here and now. Deep 15 now for Sidnev. Miles holding up for the long bar. Waiting patiently. Doing disciplined burns. There's the Tetris, but a misdrop was had on that T-piece. Miles executes the tuck flawlessly. Sidnev at D24, almost 100,000 point lead. And Miles goes to commit for this dirty Tetris. Or not dirty Tetris, Tetris in the center well. D60 now for Miles, and gets set up for another one. But the eyepiece does not come, so Miles having to burn down. Sidnev at D43 hasn't been able to score Tetris over the past couple of levels. Miles needs to get this left side dealt with. down by almost 100,000 points. Sidnev now at D95. Miles back down to the bottom. Both players level 34. Miles set up for a Tetris, and so is Sidnev. There's the Tetris for Miles. D26. Sidnev is at EO1. Miles is set up for another Tetris, but it looks like we're running into a drought. Sidnev finds the long bar, able to score Tetris. Miles goes for the triple, just shy of being able to score another Tetris. And Miles just forced to take all these conservative burns, still down by 100,000, but Sidnev is running into complications. Miles could get the eyepiece all the way over to the right side. There's one Tetris for Miles. It's going to be set up for another. Sidnev still experiencing some trouble, but Miles needs to find a way to open up the well. Bring the stack down. Safety measures. There's the Tetris for Miles. 10,000 points is all that Miles needs. That Sidnev has chopped out. 6,000 points remain. 5,000. Miles almost there. Can we see a decider force? Miles going for some flat birds. E59 is what Miles needs, and that's what he gets. We are going to a decider. What a chase down, and what endurance on display over there from Miles. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys are getting a game number 5. Wait, no shot Miles gets this final Tetris. No, it doesn't happen. What a game, though. What a game. Both players are ready. It's time to finish this match between the Millionaires and the Wavey ones. Game number 5. Do the Millionaires take the match 4-0, or do the Wavey ones get a match for a point for all their troubles? We're about to find out. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Tetris. Crazy game so far, or crazy match so far. Miles versus Sidnev has always been a classic, no matter which season it has happened in. And we're already starting this off with some banger paces here. Or, well, obviously it's early on. Well, we're starting off flawless. Both players looking for a J piece. And a flawless 20 from both players here. And Miles is going to have to break his flawless score. Or flawless Tetris rate. Sidnev, on the other hand, is going to be able to keep it going. So, Sidnev with a Tetris pace advantage. Still hasn't burned a line. And anytime you have 200k before 40 lines, that lets you know that you're playing perfect. Or near perfect. However, Sidnev's going to have to take some burns. Beautiful way to down stack that. A lot of creative spins. Now we're separated by a Tetris. $260 and now $254. Sidnev actually going to be forced to take some burns here. So we're about as neck and neck as you can get it here in the early game. Oh, dog, thank you so much for the raid. You're just in time for game number 5. Miles running into a little bit of a slowdown, but wait, that was a smart adjustment. Only 2 burn lines were forced right there. Sidnev with the current lead, 349, but Miles is going to answer back, 353. Last game, Miles had to outlast Sidnev and win the game going into level 36. And a decider when all the pressure is on. Will we see that same kind of endurance needed? Sidnev is able to knock down a Tetris, but the stack needs a lot of help. And this is a great opportunity for Miles to take lead. Sidnev missing the adjustment. Couldn't move the S piece over one more in order to accommodate for that L piece. Sidnev goes for a long bar dependency setup, but just opts to burn out of it later. Sidnev now in danger. Needs a J piece. Holding out, doesn't get it, so has to compromise. This could get dangerous. We can see an early top out if Sidnev's not careful. That left side is peculiar. But Sidnev, amazing down stacking prowess. One more long bar would be godsend right here. There it is. Dirty Tetris for Sidnev, keeping the game alive. Gotta give Sidnev her props right there for surviving that situation. However, Miles has converted this into a 4 Tetris lead. We are closing in on the level 19 transition. Less than 25 lines away. Sidnev knocks down the Tetris back to the right-hand side. Miles now experiencing a rough set of pieces, very jagged, and you can see he does not approve. So now he has to find a way to bring this down. Sidnev, this is a perfect opportunity for her to utilize to make the comeback. Close the gap as much as possible before level 19. This is it. Game 5 post-transition. 496 for Sidnev. 574 for Miles. 1 Tetris remains for Sidnev. 2 possible for Miles with perfect play. There it is. Sidnev brings us to transition. 543. Miles knocks down a Tetris. 1 more will give us the 600k. There it is. Sidnev knocks down another Tetris. Miles trying to hold out. Doesn't find the long bar for a 600k transition, but finds the Tetris on level 19. Sidnev now at 595. Miles J-piece dependent. Having to compromise, trying to find an alternative way to deal with this. A misdrop from Miles that's going to prolong this kind of dig situation now. But Miles finds a nice way, nice set of burns that's going to help out a lot. But Sidnev is caught back up. 621 for Sidnev, 630 for Miles. Both players separated by 6 lines, so to speak. Miles is on level 20, Sidnev is on level 21. There is another Tetris for Sidnev, taking the lead temporarily as Miles holds out for the next long bar, whenever that may be. There's 1 Tetris for Miles, trying to get set up for another. Waiting patiently for the next long bar. Finds it, it's going to fill in the isolated dependency. Holding out for the next eyepiece now. There it is, Tetris for Miles, back into the lead. Sidnev trying to get a long bar score. Tetris 707 for Sidnev, back into the lead. Miles now L-piece dependent. Could potentially decide to convert this into a will. Yes, Miles goes aggressive. Is setting up for the column 4. Column 4 dirty is going to be scored, bringing the stack down by 4 rows. However, Sidnev is on an absolute tear here, knocking down Tetris after Tetris. 793 now for Sidnev. Miles is at 726. Sidnev Tetris ready here on level 23. Miles gets Tetris ready on level 22. And you do got to keep in mind, there's almost a full level separating them. So Miles could very much be caught up in pace. But that, of course, depends on Miles' execution, the ability to knock down Tetris after Tetris, as Sidnev is continuing to put a lot of pressure here on Miles. There's another Tetris for Sidnev, 884 for Sidnev. Miles is going to answer back, 814 for Miles. Another Tetris for Miles goes up to 844. Sidnev is going to have to do some burning here. Left side is going to have to be addressed. Gets the J piece all the way over to the left. We are only at level 25. We still have an entire post to go through. The second transition here in this decider, 921 for Sidnev. Miles gets Tetris ready. Sidnev holding out for the next long bar. Almost a full level ahead of Miles. So Miles does have a pace advantage. 907 now for Miles. Fills in the first J piece dependency. Not going to go for the flat one in the center of the board. Nice adjustment over there for Sidnev. Trying to get Tetris ready. Those pieces are absolutely perfect. Tetris for Miles. Tetris for Sidnev. Sidnev maxes going into level 27. That's 1,022,000 now for Sidnev. Miles has is two Tetrises away from the max. Couldn't utilize that long bar for a Tetris, but can use the next one. Sidnev waiting patiently. Still holding up for this long bar. Has to take discipline burns. Don't want to risk a top out here right before 29. Long bar found, but not able to utilize it for a Tetris. Miles in the process of opening up the well. Sidnev up high. Has to go for another triple. Nice set of burns over there for Miles. Waiting for the next long bar. Sidnev goes to 29 at 881. Miles holding out for those long bars. Still, the drought getting in dangerous territory. Triple is burned, followed up by a Tetris. There's another Tetris on 29 for Sidnev. Miles can afford 2 more here on level 28. He's going to go for the skim. Goes for another skim. 1 more left before we go to 29. There's the Tetris for Miles. B01 to now B99. Sidnev with a 130,000 point lead, but is also 2 levels ahead. Miles has an opportunity, but no, Miles is not finding any Tetrises. Has to bring the board down. Has to get it back under control. A lot of tricky situations now, but Miles able to down stack. C51 for Sidnev. Miles setting up for a column 8. Knocks it down. Goes up to B62. But Sidnev answers back. Goes up to C93. And then Tetris for Miles. Goes up to C flat. But a T-spin setup. Miles beautiful burns. Sidnev is continuing to put pressure. Still maintaining 130,000 point lead. Miles beautiful board right here. Gonna take a couple of skims. Trying to get the board Tetris ready. There it is, another Tetris for Miles. Sidnev running into a slowdown. D44 for Sidnev. C50 for Miles. Down by 100,000 points. Just going to take the triple. Not too happy with the board state as it was. Now both players are trying to get the boards back into scoring position. Miles having to do a set of burns here. Not liking the pieces. Eyepiece had to be dumped on top of that well. Sidnev is now set up for another Tetris. Knocked down this will give Sidnev the 1.4. There's the 1.4. Miles having to bring the stack back down. Was getting a little bit dangerous. But Sidnev is now set up for another Tetris. E13. Tetris is scored for Sidnev, but now the board needs some mending. Miles down by almost 200,000. 1.2 to 1.4. Sidnev is at level 36, but several misdrops in a row. Sidnev, nothing that she can do. Sidnev tops out at E62. Miles needs E63 to clutch this out. Has time to do so, but it's not going to be easy. Tetrises are going to have to be scored. Miles bringing the stack down. Level 36 is where Miles is at right now. Trying to get set up for another Tetris. Eyepiece is making it all the way over left. There's one Tetris. D60. 100,000 points remain. There's another Tetris. EO4. 2 more Tetrises will be good enough. There's another Tetris for Miles. E50. 1 more remains. At this point, I believe Miles could also line out. 4,000 points left. 1,000 points left. And there it is. Miles clutches the chase down and takes the decider. There's the Tetris. Can try and grab 2 more. We can see a rollover here. It doesn't look like it's going to happen. But what a game from both Sidnev and Miles. Miles taking the decider, meaning the Millionaires take this match 4-0. What a game to rate in on, dog. Absolutely phenomenal play. The Millionaires now have a record of 8-2. Still behind the Grandmasters with a flawless record this season, 10-0. What a captain's match. Truly phenomenal play. Man. Wow, what a game. But, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to conclude it for today's Gauntlet match. Tune in, same time, this Thursday for another one. We're going to find someone to raid. But you couldn't ask for a better game right there. Might as well just raid, Classic Tetris Wars. Anyways, I'm your favorite underwater host, Sharky. And I'll see you this Thursday in the next match of Gauntlet Ascension.